Buenos días. Es una bendición poder estar en este momento compartiendo lo que será nuestro examen final. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and explain to you and make a short review about your final exam in this unit number 3 that we are finishing, thanks God. So we're going to start with grammar review. That is one of the sections of the final test. The final test is compounded by 3 areas or 3 sections. We're going to be working on grammar, reading, and spelling section. So let's start with the review with the topic of grammar that you already know, students. And let's listen this video to remember this topic and to be clear.
Object pronouns. Hoy vamos a hablar acerca de object pronouns. Vamos a estudiar subject pronouns y también object pronouns. Así que empecemos. We use subject pronouns before the verb. Usamos los subject pronouns antes del verbo, before the verb. And we use object pronouns after the verb. Y usamos los object pronouns después del verbo, after the verb. The object pronoun for I is me. The object pronoun for you is you. The object pronoun for he is him. For she, her. It, its. We, us. You, they, them. This is so confusing. Puede que te estés diciendo a ti mismo, ay, esto es demasiado confuso, no entiendo. But don't worry. I'm going to give you a few examples. No te preocupes, te voy a dar unos ejemplos y con esto te prometo que te va a quedar súper, duper claro. Susan calls John. Aquí tenemos nuestra primera oración. Susan llama a John. En esta oración, ¿cuál es el verbo? Calls. Susan calls John. Susan goes before the verb. Susan está antes del verbo. ¿Y te recuerdas qué usamos antes del verbo? Subject pronouns. Así que, ¿cuál de estos puedes usar para sustituir a Susan? ¿Qué usas? I, you, he, she, it, we, you, or they. ¿Cuál de todos estos puedes usar para sustituir a Susan? She. Así que también puedes decir, she calls John. Ella llama a John. She calls John. Ahora veamos. John. John está después del verbo. ¿Y qué usamos para sustituir algo que está después del verbo? Object pronouns. Así que, ¿cuál de todos estos puedes usar para sustituir a John? ¿Qué usas? Me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. ¿Cuál de todos estos puedes usar? Him, porque estamos hablando acerca de John, acerca de él. Him. Así que también puedes decir, she calls him. Ella lo llama. She calls him. She calls him. Listen and repeat. She calls him. Paul works with Kelly. Paul trabaja con Kelly. Paul works with Kelly. What's the verb in this sentence? ¿Cuál es el verbo en esta oración? Works. Ahora veamos. Paul está antes del verbo. Así que, ¿qué usas para sustituir algo que está antes del verbo? Subject pronouns. ¿Cuál de todos estos puedes usar para sustituir a Paul? He. Así que también puedes decir, he works with Kelly. Él trabaja con Kelly. He works with Kelly. Ahora veamos. Kelly está después del verbo. ¿Y qué usas para sustituir algo que está después del verbo? After the verb. Object pronouns. Así que, ¿cuál de todos estos object pronouns puede sustituir a Kelly? Her. So you can also say, he works with her. Él trabaja con ella. He works with her. Listen and repeat. He works with her. He works with her. Very good. The next sentence. Peter and Victor play with their friends. Peter y Victor juegan con sus amigos. Peter and Victor play with their friends. What's the verb in this sentence? Play. Okay, so Peter and Victor go before the verb. Peter and Victor están antes del verbo. Así que, ¿qué usas para sustituir a Peter and Victor? Subject pronouns. ¿Y cuál de todos estos puedes usar para sustituir a Peter and Victor? They. So, you can also say, así que también puedes decir, they play with their friends. Ellos juegan con sus amigos. Okay, let's see. Their friends. This goes after the verb. Esto va después del verbo. ¿Y qué usas para sustituir algo que va después del verbo? After the verb. Object pronouns. Very good. Which of these object pronouns can you use to substitute their friends? ¿Cuál de todos estos puedes usar para sustituir las palabras their friends? Them. Very good.
Excellent. So we are taking account the subject pronouns that go before the verb and the object pronouns that go after the verb. And here we have, this is a short review of this topic so you can practice before your exam. We will be speaking and studying this moment about the comparative and superlative adjectives. Remember, the adjectives are the words that qualify the nouns. The adjectives are the words that qualify the nouns. Here we have a boy in his bicycle that is fast. This boy and the bicycle are fast. This boy and his car is faster. So this boy is faster than this boy. And we have here fastest. This is the superlative. This is fastest than the car and than the bicycle, boys. So when we talk about comparative and superlatives, we have to remember that the comparatives is made in two things, two persons, two objects. In this case, we can say the car is faster than the bicycle. The car is faster than the bicycle. This is the comparative. And to use the superlative adjective, we can say, the airplane is the fastest of them. The airplane is the fastest of the three. Here we have. This is my example for the comparative and superlative. This is very easy to remember and to review. Remembering about comparative and superlative adjectives, there are some irregulations. For example, we have irregular adjectives. And like always, we have irregular verbs, we have another irregular plurals. In adjectives, to compare or to do superlatives, we have in irregular too. So the comparative here, this is a chart that you can check before your exam. You can read and remember this kind of comparative we have here in this chart. Then we have the superlative chart about the same adjective, and we have the irregulars here. The irregulars that I would like you to remember very good is good, the comparative is better, the superlative is the best. Bad, the comparative is worse, the superlative is the worst. For many, the comparative is more, and the superlative is the most. Much, the comparative is more, and the superlative is the most. Far, the comparative is farther, and the superlative is the farthest. And so we have further and the furthest. Okay, so this is the kind of words that you have please to review before your exam or for your life to learn for any other moment. I have here two examples, more examples. Comparative, in this case, we can say, for example, Susan is taller than Mary. Yeah, than Mary. So we have Susan. The verb is here, is. Taller is the comparative, the adjective that is comparison. Than Mary. So we have here in the comparative two girls, Susan and Mary. Susan is taller than Mary. The superlative, Susan is the tallest in the class. Susan is the tallest in the class. So this is another kind of example that we can review about grammar topic. Very good. So let's continue with reading review. I would like you to check this. We're going to be remembering the reading about Mr. Alexander von Humboldt. So here is the picture. I'm going to try to give you here the name. Mr. Alexander von Humboldt. I'm going to review this reading that you already know, already read in the class, as you can remember. So let me write the name here, Alexander von Humboldt. Very good. This person is very important. The German scientist Alexander von Humboldt was born in 1769. You can underline that main information. He went to the famous University of Göttingen. So you can underline this very important information too. To study archaeology and physics, and then to School of Mines to study geology. You may underline to study geology as well. Humboldt obtained permission from the Spanish government to explore the regions of present-day Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, and Peru. He gathered data on flora, fauna, climate, astronomy, geology, and Earth's geomagnetic field. Astonishingly, he climbed the Andean peak Chimborazo, 5,000 876 meters, setting a new world altitude record. So this is very important for you. You may underline, he climbed the Andean Peak Chimborazo. You may underline that because this is very important information in this paragraph. Much of Humboldt's later life was spent writing his great work, Cosmos. Cosmos is the name of the book that he was spending life writing. So we can underline much of Humboldt's later life was spent writing his great work, Cosmos. Very important for you to remember. This 5-volume work was an attempt to describe the universe and to show how its parts are interdependent and inseparable. Humboldt, one of the greatest geographers who ever lived, died at the age of 90. This is very important to know as well. This is a main idea too. So you can underline this information. So in this 1, 2, 3, and short 4 paragraphs, we have the information to review, to read and reread, to know about Alexander von Humboldt in general for your knowledge in your exam. Very good. So we are finishing here. We have the spelling review that you're going to be working on your exam. Remember, this is the lesson number 4. Lesson number 4. So remembering about this, remember about geography. This is the study of the earth, latitude, the lines that we were watching on the book, the lines that are from east to west on a map. The longitude lines are lines that run north to south on a globe. Ancient, belonging to a very distant past and no longer in existence. No longer in existence. Streams, small narrow rivers. Beyond, a dove, a bird with short legs, small hair, and white and gray feathers. Populate, to inhabit a town or area. Skill, the ability to do something very well. Continent, one of 7 large land areas of the world. Course, the route of direction followed by a ship or river. Course, the route of or direction followed by a ship or river. Very good. So this is the kind of words we have to study and review. We already practice in our book. You already know them, but it's very good you to know that you have to continue working on that. So I am glad to be with you. See you the next time. And congratulations for doing very good every single thing that you do. Okay, see you the next time. Bye-bye.